going on, everyone? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the 96 Head Jug here with the Week 14 builder going Week 14 builder for the John Draft League, the JJDO. Now, before we get into this video, I'm going to go over a couple of reasons why I am actually doing the team builder video before I am actually doing the battle. This is going to probably be the only time I'm going to do this, just because, for one, it's going to be pulling John. I think it'll be pretty funny. But also, I kind of want to actually talk a little bit before we go into the matchup and stuff like that. And I would rather be able to be focused on the matchup versus doing this going into the matchup as well. But I'm definitely going to make sure I do some refreshers on me to make sure I am ready to go for this matchup. But if you are excited for this, definitely leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the First Shocker crew today because you're the king of the crew. And let's go ahead and get into this team builder. I'm not going to try to make this team builder video too long, hopefully for you guys. And again, I'll keep explaining my thought process as I go through. So before we get into this video, let me explain why I want to do the team builder. I want to do the team builder because I want to tell you guys exactly what my thought process is going into this matchup. And I would rather have more time to talk about this particular team I built because it's against my good friend John Jr. If you guys don't know, I have been good friends with John ever since he pretty much started not only his YouTube career, but his draft league career. I was in a league where this was like maybe like his 5th, 6th league, starting with Showdown and stuff like that. And this was a league called All In, No Quit, which is hosted by a good friend of mine, Jesse, aka Not Suspect. And that's how I met John, Obo, and so many more great guys. And that's how we formed a really good bond of a friendship and a brotherhood in the draft league community. And I've been with these guys ever since then. Once John did transition to Wi-Fi, though, definitely me and John kind of separated a little bit there in terms of being able to hang out, talk, and, be around each other, play leagues together and stuff like that. But, as of late, he's come back into the draft league scene from almost being forced to kind of almost, not exactly retire from it, but retire from the Wi-Fi scene. But with Scarlet and Violet coming back and having the timer, John's back full swing, and he's an amazing player. He's arguably, in my opinion, one of the top 10 best battlers in the entire draft league scene, in my honest opinion. He makes these really cool, calculated teams, and he has these certain play styles that he plays for a battle. He's super talented and a super great guy. So if you guys have not checked out John, what are you doing with your lives? Check out John. His link will be in the description for both the team builder and the battle. John is just an amazing friend. He is the only person in my draft league career that I need to get a win with. Against any other people that I have gone winless against, I have actually gotten my vengeance and have gotten my wins against them. And John is the only person left on this list that I have to beat in order to basically beat all my old rivals, essentially. But John does have a scary team this time around, so it's going to be making this more harder. But I'm just super excited to face John after so many years. I think we haven't battled each other in like 6-7 years, which sounds pretty crazy. But I could be over-exaggerating too. I forget how time flies, man. I forgot the last time me and John even had a battle. It could be less than 6 or 7 years, but it's been a very long time. Last time me and John ever battled together was in the finals of a kind of an 8-man league that our friend was hosting. And John, unfortunately, got the W there. And I'm looking to finally win against John. But John is super talented and he's got a great team, so let's talk about it. So real quickly, we have John's team here. He has Monkey Dory, Iron Bundle, Ting Lu, Cinderace, Scizor, Azumarill, Iron Hands, Garganacl, Revavroom, and you don't see on the dock because it's an irrelevant Pokemon I know John will never bring in unless he's bringing means, in the Luminion. He only has one Terra Captain in the Revavroom being Flying and Fire type, which I think are really good Terra types for it, honestly, especially with having that filter ability. John does have a Toxic Spikes user in Revavroom. He did technically grab 2 poison types, but they don't share weaknesses, and more than likely he's going to Terra that thing almost every single chance he gets the opportunity as well. Same for the reason of him having 2 Steel types, but it balances itself out. John has a very scary team because Iron Bundle literally has no counterplay. Iron Bundle is actually top 3 in kill leaders right now. John has actually been really liking this mon. It's probably still not one of his go-to favorites, but I definitely think he's been enjoying it. I do think he's been loving Cinderace. Cinderace has been an amazing pivot for him in this matchup. He obviously loves Ting Lu. Ting Lu is his guy. And I'm pretty sure he's been enjoying Azurill. I don't know how much experience he's had with Iron Hands and Garg yet, but Garg is actually his first week going to this week. And he's finally getting the chance to use Monkey Dory because for some reason John loves this monkey so much. And I can kind of see why. It's definitely the best out of the 3 in my opinion. But looking at John's team, he does not have hazard removal unless you count Cord Chain Cinderace. So It's something that we could take advantage of here, but there's something that we need to be careful about, and that's Core Chain Cinderace, which I am 100% expecting John to bring against me. Because there's a couple of things going on. Obviously, with the changes that we made to our draft, which now mean I have Haxorus, Grim, Claude, Snorlax, and Houndstone. The big thing he has to look out, though, is Claude and Overquill. Claude and Overquill, plus those sticky webs from my Vikavolt, really pressure heavy John's team with hazards, and John is almost enforced into running heavy duty boots on a good chunk of his Pokemon. At least 2, maybe 3 at maximum. But we have some ways, but John does have ways around it. His Team Glue is honestly one of the scariest things on his team just because it really checks a lot of things. Like it checks my Jirachi perfectly well. It checks Clodsire perfectly. It checks Big Man Overquill really well. It's even a decently good enough answer to Houndstone as well, which I think is really annoying. Azu is very hard for my team to really switch into. I think potentially a banded Azu will come, but John might be forced into a defensive Azu because of my Urshifu Rapid Strike. Monkey Dory, definitely expect that they to most potentially be Choice Scarf this matchup. Monkey Dory is definitely going to be a big problem. And I do expect a potential modest booster energy bundle with enough speed to outspeed Ogerpon, and then a little bit less on the special attack stat with a modest nature to get the speed raise versus the special attack raise. Because I think having that speed raise is a good fail safe in case Monkey Dory does go down, in case the Urshifu gets out of hand as well. If I expect what I am expecting from his team, I believe I am expecting Monkey Dory, Iron Bundle, Tinglu, Cinderace, Azu, and the Rebel Room. There is some chances to bring hands, but I don't know if he's going to feel confident in that. I do not think he brings Garganacl at all in this matchup. Garganacl has a really bad matchup, and Scizor kind of can come as well, but I'm not 100% banking on it showing up, but it's definitely something I could see him bringing if he really wants to steal priority. And in terms of Rebel Room's Terra typing, I 100% think flying is the 100% the move. Now, fire does make a lot of sense in terms of rocking out with some like weakness policy sets and stuff like that. But my personal opinion is just flying because if he gets a shift gear up and has a chance to outspeed my Urshifu by creeping for something, the Rebel Room could get really out of hand, especially if John built it kind of really good defensively with the speed set, certain speed tier that he wants to go with here, to where he can get 2 shift gears off and then be +4 attack and 2 speed. He then can outspeed my Urshifu if I'm not careful. So, do you think John has the options to do this? I do think Terrafire is still a bit of a fair bring because it's the ultimate counter to Ogerpon, and is a really good answer to things like Vikavolt and Jirachi. But I really think flying makes the most sense in this matchup, especially when he knows I'm not going to probably rock any moves on Clodsire to really hit it as well. So overall, I just think his 6 is going to be these top 4 right here, plus Azu. And I think it's either going to be offensive Azu or physically defensive Azu, and then Rebel Room is my prediction. So real quick, let's go ahead and get into the team here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to kick it off with Wutai, the Urshifu Rapid Strike here. We have Swords Dance, Aqua Jet, Surgeon Strikes, and Thunder Punch. You look at this Urshifu and you look at John's team. John has no safe counterplay. Once I get an SD off, this thing is going to just click buttons into John's team. John has no answers to this Pokemon whatsoever. We're actually going to rock out with the Yachi Berry, and this may seem like a really dumb and stupid bring in my opinion, but Yachi Berry makes the most sense because, again, it's one of those things that really adds a lot of a surprise factor because he may think the bundle can just straight up outkill me, but with having that Yachi Berry, I will be able to guarantee live 1 hit from bundle unless bundle whittles me down to a certain degree. But I do think, though, that Urshifu here is going to be really good. It's going to be potentially a win condition in this matchup, if not a breaker at the very most. And I'm very excited for Urshifu in this matchup. I think Urshifu is going to be insanely good for us this game. And I cannot wait to try this thing out. Hopefully it does as well. Up next, of course, just like every week, we're going to bring Chidori, our Ogerpon Heartflame. Now, probably not a mon I really should bring this matchup, especially since I have no hazard removal. But it's one of those mons that if John wants to leave it as Tinglu, John has to either risk letting me set up a Swords Dance in front of his face, or for setting up a Trailblaze into Swords Dance on the following switch. But knowing John's team, I think I know exactly what set he's going to rock on his Tinglu. It's going to be dual hazards, spikes, and rocks. There's Whirlwind and then Earthquake. There's literally no other reason for John to run any other type for that. I do think he runs kind of a mixed defensive Tinglu, a little bit more on the Spadef side, but having also very fair physically defensive investment. But we are rocking out here with Sources, Ivy Coach, Trailblaze, and Zombie Tantrum. I really didn't need Grass Stab in this matchup. Fire Stab was really all I really needed. Trailblaze is just there to pseudo help check with Azu. If I also get a +2 off, Azu kind of just dies. But if again it's Fizz Def, I will say Waterfall into Liquidation or into Aqua that will always kill me, so it's going to be something I have to be very careful about when I set up with this Pokemon. But Chiori can really break really strong. It's really early game if I really want to. And plus, if I get a Trailblaze up, I can outspeed everything on their team besides Booster Speed Bundle, which I think is really cool. And I really expect Ogerpon here to do a lot of good work. Up next is Vika Shot, our Vikable here with the Terra Electric. We are going electric again because it's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. I'm sorry, I had to. But we are running Vikable here, and I did a very specific EV spread here. I am running enough speed to outspeed Bundle that is outspeeding my Ogerpon with the booster speed. Well, without the booster speed. So basically, Ogerpon Bundle has to hit 351 because my max speed is 350 on Ogerpon. So John's going to hit 351. This will hit 352. So I guarantee outspeed Bundle if it's not booster energy speed. So if it's booster energy special attack, which it's a fair shot it could be in this matchup as well, we do outspeed that thing after an agility, which is really, really good. The rest were into HP and special attack to hit insanely hard magnet. Just because if you look at John's team here again, what switches into electric stab on John's team that's not Iron Hands? And Ting Lu. And Ting Lu can't comfortably switch in on me because of Bug Buzz, even though it does lower my special attack, but it'll still do so much damage to that Ting Lu, which is really, really nice. And again, a Thunderbolt or a Thunderbolt into a Mudshot probably has a good chance to always knock out Iron Hands. Mudshot's realistically only on there to kind of help deal with the Monkey Dory if I want to have speed control. And it's also there to hit the Iron Hands, and it's also there to hit the Rubber Room in case the Rubber Room does not terrestrialize before it sets up. So that's something to be mindful about. But I think this thing could really break really well if we get it out in there. I also might just go straight up for offense instead of setting up in certain situations. But really think it's going to do a lot of work for us this matchup. And believe it or not, guys, we're bringing 3 of our 5 transactions off the bench this week. And I actually really wanted to bring Clodsire because Clodsire was really good into John's team. But I had to really take a risk with this build just because I cannot allow John to just freely court change my team. And plus, I feel like I know for a fact John will have to run U-turn and potentially taunt on his Cinderace and then probably Powerball as his last move. It could be fully utility with Super Fang, but I feel like Powerball at least gives me to hit stuff on my team, which is important. But I felt like that was good. But Clodsire I felt like was a little overwhelmed. Big Man looked pretty good in this matchup as well, but Big Man kind of got pressured offensively very hard by a lot of things on his team. I also could have brought Houndstone. I was very close to bringing Houndstone in this matchup, but I feel like Houndstone is just a little bit of a weird set because like I would have to be like pretty much Spadef and Spadef, but I would feel like I would not have been able to 1v1 the Team Aloof efficiently well, and plus with having Cinderace and having my Fluffy ability, Cinderace kind of just beats me a good amount of the time. I might change out Haxorus here, but I'll go over why I have Haxorus here first, obviously, but there was a lot of options with those two, but I went with these 3, and let's talk about it. First, we're doing a bit of a weird set this week. We're running a physically defensive setup Sasquatch, aka my Grimmsnarl. We're not naming it Ganon anymore. Ganon was meant to be like the wall breaker and destroyer, but since I love using this thing for its utility, we had to change up his name. So he's now known as Sasquatch. Well, Grimmsnarl this week is actually going to be a setup variant, and I just talked about not being the utility mon, but there's a reason why I went with this set. This set looks really good into John's team. Taunt is really good just because this way I can taunt his Ting Lu. And that's one of the main reasons I also am running Frisk. Frisk also gives the item information, which is really good. But Taunt is very good in this matchup against John's team because John has a lot of setup potentials. And even though, yes, Prankster would be really good to have on this Mon, to also stop potential River Room from setting up, and also having those priority bulk ups as well. I felt like this set really worked better because it gave me information on what I can kind of gauge from the set, but more importantly, this allows me to taunt Ting Lu. This basically forces Ting Lu never to get hazards up in front of me, and it also forces a hard switch out on something like the River Rune. If I taunt it on a switch out, that way John never knows that I am taunt or on Prankster. Well, actually, he will. Never mind. I'm stupid. But basically, this is to help shut down Ting Lu, and this sets up in front of Ting Lu every single time. Dual Stab insanely hits John's team. Like, you look at John's team, he has no good safe switching to the Dual Stab of Grimmsnarl here. But I went with physically defensive in this matchup Just because I felt like the physically defensive set was a lot better in this matchup than going with some offensive. It's already got strong enough offense, but I went with this set just so I can be able to. This is a very tanky Grimmsnarl here, which is basically able to set up and win or set up and break, essentially. But hopefully taunt there to shut down sweepers and bulk up to set up here with. I would love to have gone Sucker Punch in this matchup, but I can't risk on Sucker Punch, and Crunch is my only stronger move that I can go with here. Very looking forward to using Sasquatch this week. I hope we can make this set really pop off. Of course, we got my boy Obo here, Snorlax with the Rest Curse set with Body Press and Body Slam. You look at John's team. John does not have a single normal switch in, and his normal switch ins, which are Garganical and Revel Room, do not take Body Press. And even when this thing terrestrializes into and when this thing transitions into a flying type, it will not resist Body Slams. So Obo here is looking to just destroy John. This set really goes in on John. I really didn't need no Ace Spadef investment just because his team, it's how special like limited special it is. There was no need to invest into this thing. I fully invested in this thing to be physically defensive with having a bit of attacks. We can have a little bit of a punch towards it. But this thing is going to be a massive tank for us in this matchup, and I really think it's going to be really good. We are going to go actually with Thick Fat as well. I'm taking a little bit of a risk with Thick Fat just because I think Thick Fat is a little bit of a niche option. But Thick Fat's there so I can be able to tank on Cinderace a little bit better and also take on things like the Bundle a little bit, even though Bundle more than likely wants to click Hydro Pump versus me, and looking at my team, Hydro Pump is more free. Anything, but having Thick Fat at least helps deal with that and the Cinderace, which are going to be his two biggest offensive problems for my team if I let them go going. But I'm very feeling confident about this. Also, I should probably give Obo a gender. I know he's technically a monkey, but he's known as a male in the Snorlax world. But I love you, Obo. But yeah, I'm really excited for this Snorlax set. I'm actually really impressed with my build overall in this match. I really think I made myself really proud of this team. And so if I lose, I have no shame. So, and this is a set that we might change, but I'm not 100% positive on it yet. We might change it to Houndstone for Spadef, but I'll have to run some calcs. But for right now, let's go over what the Haxorus is. So we have Raxar Haxorus. Shoutouts to Yu-Gi-Oh! If you get the reference. But we have Dragon Dance, Scale Shot, Close Combat, and Poison Jab. Poison Jab is primarily just there for Azu. Otherwise, Scale Shot plus Close Combat destroys John's team. John does not have a safe Dragon Switch in. If it's only Dragon Switch in, gets weak to Poison type moves. So there's that. We are Jolly Nature to outspeed the Revel Room. Same with our Wutai. I just realized I never talked about Wutai. Wutai is actually faster than the Revel Room as well, and the rest went to HP. This one went to Spadef, just be able to take a little bit of a hit and stuff like that. Now, this set is basically designed to hopefully set up before Bundle comes in. If Bundle comes in before this, John might force me out, but John also could just overplay and think that I'm like, because he looks at my team, right? He can either spam the water move or ice move freely, but he would have to probably think that the water move makes the most sense against my team. He also can make the aggressive play, and I can make a really aggressive read. But basically, the design of this set is to hopefully get to +1 before Under Bundle comes in, and then Scale Shot something and get the boost. Because if I can get my Scale Shot off and get to +2, I will outspeed Bundle 100% of the time. Guaranteed, and this thing can just run away. With having loaded dice as well, it basically gives me a Dragon Stab that, again, hits 25. So if you go like for 4 times, right there you get 25, 50, 75, 100. So basically, I have a 100 or 125 power move here, which is better to run over something like Outrage, which I think is very insane that I can run something that's stronger than Outrage, which I can't for some reason see on here. There it is. It's basically 5 points stronger than Outrage, which I think is going to be really cool. I think this is a really cool set. I originally went with, I think, like Swords Dance or Dragon Dance with Yachi Berry and like an Adamant nature, but I had to risk it and go Jolly, I feel like, in this matchup, just because I cannot let that Rubber Room get away with doing anything it wants against me in that regard. And plus, this is a perfect good mon to bait in that Rubber Room, because John's going to probably expect me to go for that Earthquake on the potential Terra Flying, where, again, I can just Scale Shot or Close Combat that thing. More than likely, in front of it, I will always click Scale Shot into a Close Combat, just because, again, it's going to prove to him that I don't have Dragon Stab, and it might convince him to stay on Terra if he tries to Terra in front of me. So that's going to be really, really important there. So Haxorus looking to be an insanely good mon in this matchup, And I'm really proud of how the team came together. So again, this team builder is probably going to be a bit of a lengthy video, but again, I wanted to make this team builder separate from the battle just because I wanted to get my full thought process going into this one, because it is against a very talented player, but it's also against one of my really good friends, John. And I really look at John, again, like I said, as a top 10 player in the draft league format. And very much looking forward to this matchup. We actually are playing on Friday on the video, so you guys will see the team builder on Friday, and I actually will upload the battle on Saturday. So get hyped for probably the main star match of the season, like the two juggernauts of the JDL server and basically in the whole. Um, as two of the best players going to go at it in this matchup. Like I said, I wanted John last season. He dodged me. He gave me the opportunity to have him this season. I wanted the smoke, and we're going to get this smoke this week, baby. And win or lose, I'm just super happy to play John again. He's a very talented battler, and he's definitely someone that I really would like to play more against, and definitely want to be a part of some team building processes with him. Obviously, he has his community tabs where he states that if you become a channel member for $10 an hour, for $10 a month, you can get draft advice from him, and his advice has definitely really helped me. And unfortunately, haven't been able to win games because I make some misplays. But John has really good, talented advice, and he's a really smart strategist in terms of building, and he's just overall a great player. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. If you guys are looking forward to it, definitely leave some hype in the comment section below. Vote right now who you think is going to win this game. Is it Team John Jr. or Team Thriller? The team Portland. Team Shaders versus Team Jolteon. Let's get some comments down there, baby. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys for Saturday of the battle for the JDL's Week 4 against John Jr. Until next time, guys, peace.